to Season 2, Episode 24 of Me and ADHD podcast. In today's episode, I'm having a conversation with Lianne Grist from Instagram's ADHD Divas. So welcome, Lianne. How are you doing?
Welcome. Thank you. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, very excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure having you on here. And thank you for wanting to come and share your story with me and my listeners. I'm looking forward to it, actually. I've been looking forward to this
Thanks.
this episode. Right. Okay. So you are one of the many forever growing list, I guess, of late ADHD diagnosed ADHDers. When were you diagnosed? Is it
I was diagnosed 3 years ago, um, October, yeah, 3 years ago, and yeah, so quite a while now, really. Yeah, it's gone
okay?
quick.
So I feel like quite a newbie now. Then it's only been about 18 months for me. So
Yeah, yeah.
so what made you feel like getting assessment? Was there anything in particular, or
I didn't feel so. Basically, it wasn't me that initiated it. I didn't think I had ADHD.
okay?
So I was going through a breakdown, which lasted for about a year, and yeah, I was talking to friends. It was kind of slow. Um, so that year was very slow, and things started to creep up, and I started to break down gradually, from not remembering anything to looking at my allotment plot going, I actually can't figure out what to do here. Like my mind would just go blank to uh, not being able to make decisions. So my husband had to make a lot of the decisions for me. Um, to standing in Sainsbury's and looking at shampoo and thinking, I can't make a decision. This is too much. And I remember being there and thinking, why can't I just make a decision on which shampoo to buy? And I broke down, I was crying, and I rang my husband, and then I said, I can't decide what shampoo to buy. And he said, leave the shop, come home, have a cup of tea. Don't worry about the shampoo, I'll pick something up. So I was like, okay. And I knew then something seriously wrong. Um, and then a friend of mine rang me up out of the blue. And she said, how are you? General chit chat. And I said, I'm not good. And she said, oh, okay. And so she came over and she bought some lunch with her, bless her. And then I was I wasn't dressed. She knew something was seriously up, and she said, "I think you have ADHD." And I said, "What? No, I don't. I'm I'm female. Females don't get ADHD, and two, I'm not like don't move quickly. I'm not I'm not outwardly I can sit still basically, and I don't feel like I have those traits." She said, I'll send you some bits of information. I was really annoyed actually because I thought, how dare you say I've got something when I know I haven't? Like, I know I've got something, I know something's not right, but I know it's not that.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't educated, I just thought I was going crazy. Um, and then she started, uh, then she left, and then she started sending me videos and these memes, and I was just like, stop it, like, this isn't me. And I just felt like it was quite intrusive of her to be diagnosing me as well. Anyway, as time went on, I was looking at it and I was like, oh my gosh, maybe this is me because hyperactive in the head, like yes, I've got an internal dialogue and my brain just won't switch off and ping from one thing to another and kind of connected, but I was still like, I just don't think that's me. Like, I don't know. And then things started to go downhill massively and very quickly.
Yeah.
And I was saying to my doctor, who was absolutely incredible, and I was saying to him, I can't think and I don't know what's going on. I'm crazy. He said, no, you're not crazy. I said, but I can't remember anything. I can't make any decisions. I think I've got dementia. And he said, I don't think you have, but we are going to eliminate and just see, you know, what's occurring and just try to figure this one out. And then so he got me in contact with a dementia unit in fairly local, and I never forget this. The guy rang me up and he said, "Oh, Mrs. Grist," and I said, "Yes." He said, "Oh, I'm looking at your records, and you're 37. You think you have dementia?" I said, "Yes, no, I definitely have. Honestly, if you lived in my brain, you would know I've got dementia. I can't remember anything." And I go downstairs, and I'm like, and it was really frustrating, annoying me, and daily, you know, and I just, I, yeah, I said, I have. I really don't think you have. Um, and I was quite annoyed because I was like, yay, he's gonna say I've got dementia, and then that's that, you know. But no, so went back to the doctor, and then my friend, yeah, she kept sending me these videos, and I just said to my boss, sorry, not my boss, my GP, I said, it's really annoying. My friend keeps sending me these videos about like ADHD, but I really don't think I have ADHD. And he said, okay, well, let me look into it. Let me look into your history, um, and we'll take it from there. And I was like, okay. So when my mental health went rock bottom, I remember being in the bath and thinking, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's too much. And my husband came back, and um, at the time he was looking after the kids full time. I couldn't look after my children. And then my doctor sent me over a questionnaire and an ADHD questionnaire. I filled it out, but I forgot that I did it. And then, like a week later, he called me in, and he was amazing. He saved my life. I definitely say that. He would check up on me like at weekends and just say, how are you doing? Like, are you okay? And he said, you will get better. I promise you, you will get better. And there was niggle in me that thought, I trust him. I really do trust him. I believe him. But I think if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today. And um, so my husband basically had to carry me into the GP to see him. And he said to me, and my husband, I know what's going on. And me and my husband just looked at each other and were like, oh my gosh, we're going to have an answer. And I thought he was going to say, I need to go into a mental asylum. That's exactly, I just thought I'll be sectioned and that's it. And he said, you have a severe case of ADHD. And I said, I can't. How is this possible? Like, you know, and I don't, that's all I remember. and everything else was just a complete blur. And then he said, "You can't wait on the NHS, you need to go private because you don't have the time." Because he knew I was at rock bottom, he said, "You don't have the time to wait, you need to go now." So he was the one that sent the details over um, for an assessment, and then my husband took over and contacted them, and then we got an appointment like that. I mean, I was so lucky. I think of all the people now that are struggling to get appointments and have to wait for months and months and months, even with private organisations. And I just think, yeah, I was so lucky. And I waited 2 weeks. That's all I had to wait. And within so yeah, so it was pretty quick, really. Um, yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah,
That's a lot, and it kind of riles me a little bit about how people who still look down on ADHD doesn't exist. People are faking it, and this
yeah,
is this it's real. This is messing a lot of people up when they're not getting supported.
yeah,
And when they're not knowing what's going on.
yeah. That's the most scariest thing. I was so scared.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
it is, and people say, and I've discussed this before quite a few times, that it's not about having a diagnosis of ADHD. It's about having the answers.
Yeah,
You know, if it comes with a diagnosis, fine. If it comes with, 4 letters, fine. But it's
mm,
the answers that you need so you know what's going on and you're
yeah,
not losing your mind. And
yeah.
there are ways forward, and putting those things into place can help so much. It's a
Oh my gosh, yeah,
yeah, it's a very manageable condition, um, but you got to know about it first.
yeah.
Because when you don't know about it, it's not manageable at all. Um, and then on top of that, you've got the whole I don't know what's going on, so I must be going, insane, and all these things going on in your
Yeah.
mind, and it's really really hard. And your story resonated
Isn't it? Yeah,
resonate. Oh God, there we go.
resonate.
Let's just sit here for like
Yeah,
10, 20 minutes
resonate.
trying to work out what the word is. Uh, but it struck a chord with me. We'll go with that. Um, because I went down a similar path in regards to I went to my GP and I spoke about dementia.
Really?
Yeah, and because my memory was so bad, and I felt like it was getting worse, and
Mm,
at that point, I I struggled to get my words out anyway. Um,
mm,
I'm not hyper vocal, I guess, like a lot of ADHDers. Yet I could talk quickly. I can string a sentence together, occasionally, but most of the time I'm pausing and I'm thinking. But there are a lot of times when I literally cannot think of a simple word to say, and it just
yeah.
got worse and worse as my stress was going up basically. And
Mm,
yeah, so I spoke to him, and he gave me some preliminary tests to do, memory tests to do, and I don't know if they were anything to do with
mm,
dementia or just some memory tests that he had in his office. Um, and he said, one was borderline, one was okay. Um, so he didn't think it was kind of like that, and that was right at the very start of the journey. Um, and people don't understand that. People don't understand that so many people like yourself, you don't go, oh, I'm having issues with my memory. I'm going to go for an ADHD assessment. I'm going to stick myself on the list
mm,
and the waiting list, and take someone else's place, basically make it harder for someone else to get on. And it's not that. A lot of the time we've gone
no,
through everything else,
yeah.
you know you've gone through being misdiagnosed with so many different things. You've gone through thinking you're losing your mind. You're the only
mm,
person who seems to be struggling over simple little tasks that, a child can do,
mm.
but we struggle with it so badly. So we have this massive journey that we go through before we even get to
Oh
ADHD.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, there's so much more to it.
Mm.
So when he sort of he kind of put all the details over, did you decide about what clinic to go to? So I'm getting all my words
So
muddled up now.
he only sent one clinic to go to, which was in London, but I wasn't well enough to go to London, so I was on Zoom, and it was quite a lengthy process about everything. And not only me, my husband was um, not, I guess, interviewed as well, like what he thought, like living with me and everything. So yeah, it took a long time. Um, yeah, on that call with the lady. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a lengthy and very in depth assessment.
yeah.
Um,
I guess it's got to be really because you don't want to misdiagnose if you're going to put someone on medication as well. You don't want to misdiagnose someone, so
no,
got to know about everything.
absolutely, absolutely.
Mm.
But I always find it's a
What was
weird
it?
thing in regards to one of the one of the main points, I guess, main presentations with ADHD is memory.
Mm.
But you have to sit there and go back
Remember what?
in history, recounting, be it 20, 30, 40 years ago, of what you were like
Mm.
and what it was like at school and family. I'm like,
I remember like that though. Though that's the funny thing. Like if you say to me, I don't know, what'd you do yesterday? I don't know, I can't remember. But the experience of say school was so traumatizing. I remember everything.
do you remember everything or do you remember every negative thing?
Good point. I remember the feeling of the negative, yeah.
Same.
And actually, can I just show you a picture?
Yeah.
Because I drew this picture of me when I was at school, and this is how I felt about myself before I was 10.
Oh wow. Okay. That's
So, yeah,
no child should feel like that.
no,
No adult should feel like that.
no,
Yeah. That's that's a lot to take in, and that's a lot for. I wish other people would understand. You know, I
yeah,
mean, they're not going to
but
understand how we feel and what it's like to have ADHD, but
no,
I wish they would just take time to understand that there's some huge struggles that we've had and we are still having.
I think the thing is, like, I can see from another person's point of view how they wouldn't get it because they're not in it, they're not living it, they're not experiencing it themselves, so they can't fully empathize. You just can't. I mean, you could empathize, but not deeply, and because they haven't lived it, they haven't. And I get that. I do understand because if I haven't been through something traumatic that they have, I can try and empathize and, comfort them, but I don't truly understand and I truly can't empathize. So I do understand, but I think, yes, people do need to educate themselves more to try and understand, because there are so many people with this condition,
Yeah, I think people should.
especially
If
in
you're
schools.
working with people who you think or they say they have
Yeah,
it, and even if you don't believe them, it's worthwhile trying to understand. But I think that the key thing for everybody is to accept. Acceptance is everything. Like you
yeah,
say, they're not going to fully understand what is going on and what you go through and the
mm,
severity of it all, the frequency of it all, and how so it's so oh man, it kind of like it's fighting against each other. You know, you 1 minute you're saying that please just talk and give bullet points, otherwise I'm not going to remember. But at the same time, when I'm explaining something to you, I'm going to take forever and use as many words as possible to explain something to you. And it just kind of like,
yeah,
it's all up in the air. And I get
yeah,
that. But just accept. Acceptance is key.
yeah,
If you accept it, brilliant. I mean, you could understand it, but not accept it. But if you accept it and don't understand it, then
yeah,
we're moving forward.
exactly. And, everybody has a different brain, everybody is different. And I think just accepting individuals for who they are is, it, it'd make the world a better place, definitely.
Absolutely. You know, they do go on about sort of the invisible disabilities and things like that. I get that. It's easier to see when you see something, it's easier to deal with it. Someone comes in with a broken leg, or you know what I mean, and it's easy. Okay, right,
Yeah,
please sit down. Um, but at the same time, if someone's got a migraine, you don't go. I don't believe you. You don't go. I'll just crack on with your day. I'll be
mm,
fine. You know, have some water. You'll be
yeah,
all right. You
yeah,
don't do that. You know,
no,
you take their word for it.
that's it.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
And I think if people could see more the struggles that, neurodivergent people go through, they would that understand more. It's why I do draw, because I think visually a lot of people can understand a bit more if there is a picture explaining how you feel. Um, yeah,
yeah,
what's going on inside. I had a friend that said to me the other day that she's so anxious, but she doesn't want to get any tablets because she doesn't want to rely on them. And I said, but like you just said, if you were walking or hopping around on one foot, would you not have a crutch to help you just for a little bit until it got better? And she said she thought about it and she thought, actually, yeah, I don't have to stay on it forever, do I? I said, no, just, just to calm your nervous system and to just end up thinking a little bit clearer without having those anxious thoughts. I said to her, and she actually brought something up because I've suffered so bad with my anxiety. When I started going on anti-anxiety tablets, I saw her when I just started taking them. And I said to her, and she reminded me of this because I didn't remember. She said to me, I never forget when you said, if a dinosaur came out from the clouds and was like going to chase us all and attack us all, you said that you'll be like, nah, I just don't know, go inside and whatever. And she said that stuck in her mind. And I thought that's exactly how I feel with anti anxiety. It just takes all the crap away that you're worried about and you concentrate actually what's important. Um, and she did go and get the tablets and she is feeling much better. But I think there is a stigma about taking tablets to help you.
yeah,
And I think that's what she was worried about.
and that's society. society has picked up on that, and oh, medication will change you. Medication is, you don't need that, and it's just putting all this synthetic stuff into your body, and you should eat healthily and get exercise, and that will cure everything.
Mm.
Mm,
It helps, it really does.
yeah,
But when you're so dysregulated and so anxious, you need tablets to just calm yourself. And then when you're feeling much better, yes, the exercise, the eating healthy, mindfulness, and that can really, really help. And actually, I remember my doctor saying to me, there's a lot of Olympic swimmers um, that have ADHD, and when they're not swimming or training, they notice a change in themselves, like they're more irritable, they're depressed, and he said to me at the time, try and get out there, try and do exercise. But I was so far down, there's no way I could have done anything. I wasn't even going outside, let alone getting on a bike and going on a bike ride. But I see where he's coming from now, that if you're in the right state of mind and feeling better, then yes, exercise, getting those endorphins in your body and can make you feel amazing. Yeah.
it's having that again with or without medication. There's so many strategies you can use. There's so many things you can do to help manage the symptoms and the presentations that can manifest. But if you're not on medication and you don't know what's going on because you haven't got the diagnosis or anything like that, one
Mm.
of the main issues or main presentations with ADHD is organization. It's very hard to organize and to focus and to think of things to do and then organize it all and put it into place and then follow up and complete the tasks.
Yeah.
So without that help, that's not going to happen in a lot of cases,
Yeah.
So getting the diagnosis is going to help you to a degree. The the medication is then going to be able to calm your mind enough so you can think clearer. You can follow through in things. You can have more motivation to do things, and then you can put all those things into place.
Mm. Yeah.
Because your mind's clearer and slower, and so all those things in place. And if you then come off the medication, and I'm saying this now because I've just had to come off my medication because my blood pressure's too high,
Mm.
and I am so thankful that during my 18 months of being medicated, I've put things into place because I was
Mm.
struggling before I got my diagnosis. I don't know what's going on, like yourself and like many others. But if I went back into, if I didn't put anything into place and now I'm off medication, I'll be exactly where I was before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still struggling, still not knowing what to do in certain situations.
But you now have your tools for your toolbox.
Absolutely. It
Mm.
feels like a little bit of an old toolbox at the moment without the medication, but the toolbox is there.
Yeah.
There are certain things I can't do. I, I
Mm.
I've gone back to not being able to read anymore,
Mm.
which sucks.
Yeah.
But when it comes to knowing what to do in certain situations so I don't get overstimulated, um, and then the whole dysregulation happens. I've got that. That's in place now. I know what I'm doing. Whereas
Yeah.
before, I don't know what's going on, so I didn't know what to do, and it was all messy.
No
Um,
one teaches you. No one teaches you uh how, like, the journey of when you're getting dysregulated, like the the pinpoints to, you know tell when you're getting dysregulated, or the things that make you dysregulated. Like, it's hard to know what triggers you, but also when you're completely in that zone of being dysregulated, no one tells or shows you, like, how to calm yourself, and knowing about your glimmers and what your glimmers are. And this it's so important, I think, for children to learn about now, about themselves. Like when they know that their bucket is slowly filling up, and then when it's overflowing, like to get before the overflow, it's important to get there before it overflows.
Yeah.
Um, so important, not just for kids, but for adults as well. Um, but I do think you got to start young, teaching them these skills, and but no one, there's no rule, there's no book, there's no, well, maybe there is now, but there's no, well, I didn't know. Like, I actually think back and I think to self-soothe myself, looking back, I used to doodle and draw all the time. As soon as I could hold a pen, that was me drawing, sketching, and that really relaxed my nervous system. The other thing, animals in particular, horses, the smell, even now, I was laying in a field with my son the other day with four horses, and I lowered my heart rate so low because I was so relaxed, and it was a really nice day, and because I'm highly sensitive, smells in particular, it just relaxes me so much, that I lay down, and three of the horses lay down with me at the same time. And my son was laying next to his pony, and we laid there for an hour, and it was just so nice. And I felt almost like meditative, and I know those two things, being around horses and drawing, are my glimmers. They're my self-soothing ways to regulate myself. But I mean, I don't think I could fit a horse in my house, but I'd love to, but I don't think it's going to work. But when I was younger, I used to share a pony, and what I used to do is I used to groom the horse, take a jar with me, and put the hair in a jar, and then I get home, and when I felt, dysregulated, I used to open the jar and just smell it, and they used to bring me down.
Okay.
At the time, I thought I'm very, very weird, very weird, but unknowingly to me, like I was like, this actually really helps. They, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The whole self-awareness of what's going on um, is a big thing. It allows you to to do things that make you feel better. You know,
yeah,
before diagnosis, you don't really know why you were doing it. You just know it. You felt good,
hmm
and that could easily go down the wrong route. With self-medication, with alcohol, drugs, and things like that. But if you're doing it through, I guess a sensory seeking, so certain smells sort of calm you down, so you go out to kind of find those smells because you just really want to
mm-hmm.
find that smell, so because it makes you feel good and you need to feel good right now. um
hmm
yeah, and what you said as well about there's no book, and well, like I said, there probably is now, but there's no real signposting, is there? No one
No,
tells you, even when you get diagnosed. And I think this is an industry thing, that
mm,
there's your diagnosis, there's your write up, report.
yeah,
See you later, bye.
that's that's a lonely place to be in as well,
Yeah.
because I mean, I remember going back and I tried out four different medications, and I remember getting the prescription for the first medication. It was a non-stimulant, and I went to, I think, five pharmacies because I was like, oh my gosh, I just need to take this tablet. It's going to change my whole life, and it's going to change me, and I don't want to be this person anymore. So I was traveling around trying to find this medication, and all the pharmacies, I think they'd run out or something. I didn't manage to get hold of them like the next day, but I had to travel like 45 minutes to a pharmacy. I was so desperate to have it. And then I was like, I took it and I was like, oh, am I different now? Have I changed? and obviously I was still the same, and the medication did nothing. And I was like, it's a placebo. I was absolutely 100% sure ADHD medication was a placebo because no, it didn't work. But then I said to my GP as well, like, is there a support group I can go to? Like, is there someone I can talk to? And he's like, no, might be something online, but I don't think anyone wants to talk about it. That's the only thing I disagreed with him about. I said, you're wrong.
Mm.
They do want to talk about it. Um, but also I thought I was like one of the only people, like one of the only women alive that had ADHD at the time because I'd never heard of women having ADHD. So I was like, oh man, how am I going to find these women? And I said to him, like, are there others like me? And he said, oh yeah, there's loads. And I was like, where are they? I need to find them. And then so I went on no, a friend said to me, oh, someone's been diagnosed with ADHD. She's a local lady. And I was like, no. So I messaged her like privately on Facebook and I was like, uh, just seeing a post that you've just been diagnosed. I have too. Fancy starting up as a support group because I think this could be something. And she was like, yeah, okay. So I started up the support group with her and yeah, we have about 50 or so members on there now. Um, and it's been a lifeline. And I'm also a part of a parent now support group for 10 children, and yeah, it was just incredible. Even if like I've done something stupid, like the other day, I went and got some paint, and I opened my door, and the paint, I didn't put the lid on properly. The whole tub of paint upside down, paint all over my driveway. Luckily, it didn't even touch my car. I was so lucky. Uh, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to clear this up? Took a picture, sent it to the group. I was like, oh man. And they're like, yeah, we've done that. Like, yeah. And it just makes you feel like you're not alone. Like, there's some validation. And, it's just nice to share with others that we're in the same boat as well.
Yeah.
Like we're all on different seas, but we are in the same boat, I guess. But yeah, uh when I first, oh yeah, so yeah, I took that medication, and then I took a stimulant that didn't work. I can't remember the name of it now. Then I took another non-stimulant, and that was February. So I got diagnosed in the October. The February I took the third medication, and I nearly gave up. I was like, I can't like do this. This is why is it not working? Um, then in the April, went back to the doctor again, and he said try this, which is Elvance. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna be like, I don't know, disappointed. It's not gonna work. And anyway, took the tablet. I'm not joking. Within 15 minutes, all of the fog, the thick fog I was looking out of, it was like someone just went and I could see clearly. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what is this? This is what everyone else sees? Like, I couldn't believe it. Literally could not believe it. It gave me energy. It cleared my mind. I was just so grateful and excited to be on this because, yeah, and I can say it changed my life. I've been on it now 2 and a bit years, and it has changed my life for the better. It's been incredible. And yeah, when I have breaks from it, I can't actually function. So I can't like not be without it. But do you know what? And also I burn out quite regularly. But I'm in such a better position and my life is so much better now. I just, burning out is just a small price to pay. Yeah, it's really worked well for me.
Medication is, I think the figures are like something like 75 to 80% of people who take medication, it works for.
Mm,
So when it works for those people, it works well. You know,
mm,
you get like you say, your the fog just lifted. There's a massive difference in that way, and then other people are different, and I was slightly different regarding how I felt with it, but it can make a massive difference. And there's still a lot of people saying,
yeah,
well, I don't want to do medication, or I don't want to medicate my kids. No. I honestly think, personally, my personal view, as long as the children and you are medically okay to take medication, if you're struggling
mm,
with your ADHD, you know,
yeah,
struggling, you need to try medication. You know,
yeah,
it might not work for you. You might have side effects. You can't do it. There's all lots of things. But
mm,
if it works, it's massive.
yeah.
You know,
The biggest thing for me is that it gives me dopamine. So I've realised with 3 years of research that I've been doing, because that was a promise I made to myself, was every day I'm going to research. I'm actually borderline author, but I want to know as much about this condition as humanly possible. I don't know everything and I can't know everything, but if I know just a little bit extra to help other people or myself, then it's a good thing. But oh man, what was the thing? Uh, that
and
stopped.
that is ADHD.
Yeah, brain's moving too fast now. Oh yeah, that's it, dopamine. But yeah, so it gives me dopamine. So I'm actually excited about cleaning my car, doing mundane, crappy things. Um, yeah, it just, and I'm like, wow, do people have this all the time? Like, they find it easy to read a book. They find it easy to do mundane chores and just get on with it. Just don't even think about it. Just do it. Or, that makes me like my mind boggles because I'm just like, wow, like incredible. But
How do people live like that?
yeah,
How do people
yeah,
how do people get out of bed and then do things?
yes,
That would be
mm,
nice.
that would be nice.
Just
But
do
also,
things.
in the past, to get my dopamine kick or for my ADHD symptoms to learn how to cope with them, I drank alcohol from a very early age. But that helped me at the time, a really unhealthy coping mechanism, but that helped me. In situations like I go out clubbing, go to parties, be in groups of people, I realise now I'm not very good at that. I'm not very good in group. I'm not very good in noisy environments. I get overstimulated extremely quickly. I'm highly sensitive to my surroundings. And actually, I am most suited to a slow living, quiet. I mean, can't be quiet with kids, but you know, quiet-ish environment.
Yeah.
But alcohol numbed everything, so I could think. And because the thing is, when I really got um quite drunk in the past, I remember just being like, not like everyone else, like, like, oh, sometimes, but actually kind of slowed things down for me. Like my brain just slowed, and I was like, huh, quite like this, you know. I'm not like la, 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 in my head. So I kind of got addicted to that slowness in my head. It was quite a nice place to be. Um, yeah, which wasn't good.
Yeah. It's not, but when you're not supported, you haven't got the answers, and you find something, whatever it
Mm,
is, that works and works really well, you
Yeah.
do it, you
Hmm.
know, it because it works, you know.
Yeah.
It's just obviously the side effects of long term doing it that way is really not worth, you know,
No,
that's really not good.
don't recommend it.
No, absolutely not. Um, but that's why. And then you talk to people. And I started because I know nothing about addiction at all. I don't. That's never
Mm,
been a part of my world or people that I know, and so
mm,
I'm not clued up on that at all. So I've had a few people coming on the podcast and talking about their journey with addiction. I've had a psychologist coming on and who does a lot of work with addiction and ADHD and everything. And you know, and speaking to them, it's they say the same thing. You get addicted, but you get addicted because it it works. It slows your head down. That's why you're doing it. That's
mhm,
why you keep doing it. It's literally the reason. It's not like they're getting really involved with they love alcohol, they love the taste, they love the party, they love the all that kind of it's this calms
mm,
my head down. I am medicating myself because my head is
mhm.
crazy. This is the only thing I've actually had that
Yeah.
actually makes me feel normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and that's another thing as well, you know.
Not
D-
only that, I felt like having a hangover would still, even though it was awful, I don't like having hangovers, but it would still slow my mind down having a hangover.
yeah,
So it would last for a few days. So I could be like, oh. And then by day 3 or 4, it would slowly creep up. My mind is bing, 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 bing. Like, oh my God. So it's a really awful cycle and habit to be in.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
That's why support needs to be there.
Yes. Yeah.
Bless you. So what quickly what's next for you now then? Where do you go now in
Um,
your life? Where's your journey taking you?
so might have to come on again to talk a bit more, but if you have me,
Absolutely.
but a, a lot has happened in the 3 years. A lot. Um, really positive stuff. So I now support women with ADHD. Also, I'm an advocate for neurodiversity, and because I can see what neurodiverse people see, also I've invented a product which I'd quite like to talk about a bit more to help neurodiverse uh, children, and very exciting.
Awesome.
So it's been a bit of a journey, but it's yeah, it's I'm really happy to kind of get it out there. But it's yeah, work in progress. So yeah, really excited about that. I'm also working on myself a lot.
Good.
So yeah, I'm going on. It's not really a retreat, but it's called Way of Play, and it's basically to connect with your inner child and to have fun and um, climb trees. So in May, like beginning of May, I'm going to the Lake District. I've never
Oh,
been there before,
it
and
is
I'm going
my
to stay
favorite
in a
part of the
yurt.
world.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to it. And going to be with an amazing bunch of people. And yeah, I'm going to climb trees. I'm going to learn how to basically just be part of nature and just be a bit free and flowy and calm. And yeah, I think we're going to swim in lakes and all that stuff.
Awesome.
Recently started wearing barefoot shoes. I don't know whether you've tried barefoot shoes
I
before.
haven't no.
No, it's so grounding. Like, obviously you're not barefoot, but they feel like it. And I know it's in the name, but it's yeah, amazing. I don't know like obviously it's no heel or anything, but you do feel, yeah, just a bit more freer. So I started wearing barefoot shoes, and yeah, just looking after myself a bit more, taking time out, and I love gardening, growing plants. Just started sharing a little pony, so gonna go and see him later, and also I help teenagers that are neurodiverse, like gardening therapy. So really
Excellent.
enjoy that. And the thing is, like, I feel I can see things from their perspective, that others can't. Um, so I do feel like that's a real positive, but at the same time, I feel like I take on a lot of emotion,
Yeah.
like, and yeah, but I do enjoy that. Yeah, I just want to keep drawing and
Busy. Keep him
quite
busy.
busy actually. Yeah,
Bless
when
you.
I say it out loud, I'm like when people say, "Oh, what do you do?" I'm like, oh, quite a lot actually. When I've got the energy.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
my head, yeah.
That's
Mm.
awesome. And you will be coming back on again. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
I
you.
remember the list that you want to talk about. Yeah, so you'll be coming back on a
It's
lot.
quite expensive.
No,
Thank you so much.
no. Thanks for being here. It's been really nice. It's been absolutely wonderful talking with you. Just clarify what your ADHD. You are combined. You are inattentive.
I'm
Inattentive,
inattentive,
which is
so
great. You're my
not in
second.
the
You're
manual.
my second only inattentive person that I know. I'm the first one.
Really?
Yeah. So they say
Really? Oh my
30% at the
gosh.
moment is of ADHDers are inattentive. And yeah, everyone I've spoken to is
Wow.
combined. Apart from you, gentlemen, I have now found my first hyperactive impulsive. And
Ah,
you're my first inattentive apart from myself. So
yeah.
so it's
High five.
yes. There you go. Join the club. But no, it's been great. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for coming on. And as
Thank you.
always, people, be good, be kind, and remember, you're not alone. Thank you.
Thank you very much.